So as you know, recently I've gotten in a confrontation, I guess is the best way to put it, with two different, I suppose, subscribers. I mean, somebody in the comment section is going to say, oh, they're not much of a subscriber. Don't blame all your subscribers. A follower, a viewer, someone who knows me well enough to be able to meet me in a street or a parking lot and give me the what for. Both of them were huge. These guys were just monsters. The first one was pretty chunky, but if he'd have gotten a hold of me, I would imagine it would have been pretty devastating for me. And the other one, I would imagine Hulk Hogan would have been scared of this guy. This guy was absolute monster. Fortunately, I got his name and I looked him up on Facebook. And that's what he does. He works out regularly. It was surprising. I actually figured out who it was and was able to find him. I was quite intimidated. Now, I've mentioned to you several times that it never escalated, well, at least it hadn't at that point, escalated to a point of deadly force. One guy started to chase me. Now see, deadly force, I mean, I watch this guy on YouTube all the time. He's got millions of subscribers. I watched him for 6 years, and he really defines when deadly force is authorized. Also, there's several lawyers on YouTube who talk about self-defense and when it's authorized. And it really comes down to risk of death or great bodily harm, meaning you're going to end up in the hospital. Well, I mean, there's this thing called disparity of force, but it just seems really unlikely that I'd want to get arrested, go to court, and prove disparity of force, because it's going to cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to defend yourself in a court of law. People always say that to me all the time. I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Well, I wouldn't. There's worse things in the world than death. And going to prison is, in my book, one of those things that is worse than death. Ruining your family, ruining your financial situation. It just ruins you. Why would you want to go through that? So avoid it at all costs. Don't do it. I get so tired of people saying, oh, just go to court. Just sue them. Well, there's a chance you're going to lose, and then you're out even more than you were before. I didn't think that these two incidences would have went to the level of deadly force. Now, if it's a fist fight, there's other things you can do. So I've been telling you recently that I bought palm pepper spray. Again, that YouTuber that I watch all the time, there's no reason. I really trust that guy. I really like his videos. He's taught me a lot, made me understand a lot. So he advertises this. It's called palm pepper spray, P-O-M. I don't sell it. I went to their website. Actually, I went to his YouTube channel, clicked on his link, so I guess he could get credit for it, and I bought it. And this sprays a stream. Now, people are telling me to get wasp spray. Well, if you get wasp spray, you are now at risk of death or great bodily harm to someone else. So you could actually be charged with murder or attempted murder or something like that, I would assume, because they've already determined, it's already been established that wasp spray is going to send you to prison. If you use it like this, you spray it in their eyes and make them go blind. You get it in their lungs, it could kill them. So don't use wasp spray. Besides that, where are you going to carry it? I mean, look at this nice, convenient little canister, fits in the palm of your hand. I'd rather carry this. Now, I don't care about what I want and all that stuff, but I've been watching videos. Again, I'm not advertising. I'm just suggesting to you different things. People have told me to get the gel type of pepper spray. Well, the thing with the gel is it covers your eyes, and it can take up to 45 seconds to actually start working. Unless they rub their eyes, then it's not effective. And so 45 seconds is a long time to have to run from somebody, especially at my age. I'm not into it. Then there's other brands, and I've just been watching YouTube videos. People spraying each other in the face. Palm seems to put them down instantly. This POM stuff puts them down instantly. I mean, within 3 seconds, and I actually timed it on the little counter on the YouTube counter, 1, 2, 3, and it was consistently, for each person they sprayed, it was 3 seconds. But I've seen some videos where they can still function really well. Well, not really well, at a diminished capacity, but they can still function. I actually watched this one video where, well, it doesn't matter, but he sprayed some guy. It was an actual self-defense measure, and he sprayed this other guy, and the guy was still able to walk around. I mean, he was mad, and he wasn't wanting to get sprayed again, but he was able to walk off and cuss and get in the car, and he was not diminished. So I'm going to stick with what I got, but I appreciate all the suggestions, but don't use wasp spray. That's going to get you in trouble. Now, as you know, I carry a 22. It's a Ruger SR22. I've carried this thing for years, probably since 2011, maybe a little bit after that. I really enjoy this firearm. It is just the greatest little gun. I use Blazer ammunition. It's made by CCI, and it's cheap. The gun itself isn't all that cheap. I think I bought it like back then. It was fairly new brand back then, but I think it was like $300 to $400, somewhere around there. I would imagine they're probably cheaper now. I don't know, I haven't looked. My wife at the time, my ex-wife now, she had one also. And it's just easier to carry, especially when you're a small guy like me. It's just easy to carry. And I can practice with it all the time. I was just practicing with it yesterday. I had a critter in the yard the night before last. It was 20 yards away. I stepped it off after the whole thing was done and over with. It was trying to get after the chickens, and I was able to chase it off. I do think it had rabies. It didn't want to scare off. It was a raccoon. I don't think I mentioned that. It was a raccoon, and I'm pretty convinced it had rabies. Now, I know I saw one the other day with rabies. It was off the back porch, and I used this, and I was able to get him real easy. I mean, there was no concern of me getting him. It was daylight. It was easy. But this one, night before last, was 20 yards away at nighttime. I had my little headlamp on, and I got him. I got him enough that he was not in good condition. So he ran off a bit, and I chased him down, and I shot, I think, 5 more times just to make sure he was down. Because if he was rabid, I didn't want to get bit by him. I wanted him dead. That's what you get with this. Now, I've shot 9mm a lot in my life, and I've never been as good with a 9mm as I am with this. This is just, it just shoots for you. It just does its job. Uh-oh, Skitty's over there. She's checking me out. I told you before, if she thinks I'm doing something wrong, she comes and investigates. One of the big criticisms about this gun is, you need knockdown power. Well, let's talk about knockdown power. I am so frustrated by the mentality of our society. I don't know if it's always been like this. It doesn't seem like it's always been like this, but it just seems like everybody has this arrogance about them. A lot of people would call it narcissism, that they know everything and you don't know anything. Me, in this case. I have explained very thoroughly why I carry this and not something bigger. I feel very good about it. I can practice and practice and practice. I am more likely to run into a dog, pit bull, or a rabid raccoon than I am a human that's going to need knockdown power. Don't get me wrong, if there's a human that needs to be knocked down, I will, but I don't want to, and I think that's the biggest problem. I'm going to get more into that in just a minute. I carry this on the property. My dad, when he goes and buys a gun, and he says, yeah, I'd like to buy a pistol, and somebody says, well, this is what you need for self-defense in case you need to shoot someone, he'll say, well, I don't want to buy from you. I didn't come here to shoot someone. I came here because I wanted to buy a pistol, something I could carry. Like I said, I am more likely to run into some sort of predator on the property that I need to deal with than a human. So I used to carry a 9mm, and it was just too much for me. Ammo was expensive. I bought cheap ammo. It was never consistent. It was just because that's all I could afford. But one day somebody said, you're going to need to buy something. I don't know, it was a YouTube channel. I don't remember what it was. Heck, it might have been my conceal and carry instructor. He said the best gun you can carry is the one you're going to practice with the most. And that has been this. When I first got it, it didn't shoot a lot of different brands of ammo. It was pretty stiff, I would imagine, new, and had to work all the parts in. But like I said yesterday, I was practicing with it just to kind of get an idea of what I'd done the night before. And it shot all kinds of junk. So I would imagine everything's getting loosened up. And I just bought 2 new magazines. They should be coming in shortly. One of the things that bother me is people's definition of self-defense. I have this 22. My objective with this 22 is not to kill anybody, just like my dad says. If you talk to me about killing someone, I just don't want to have that conversation. I'm not here to kill someone. I am here to prevent somebody else from killing me. That's all I want to do. I want to stop that guy from hurting me and killing me. So if he's got a gun and I've got a gun, if you watch this channel I've been telling you about, I don't give out channel names, so I apologize. I just don't have their permission, so I don't do it. But every video I watch him play, it usually results in a good guy shooting at the bad guy, hopefully hitting him, because that really does stop the fight a little bit more quickly. But in the end, guns seem to stop bad guys from continuing their efforts. Now, they may turn around and start shooting at you, but everyone I've ever watched, they all run away. Every time. Either they fall to the ground or they run away. Well, in my mind, objective accomplished. The guy didn't kill me. But I don't hear that from my audience, and I don't hear that from a lot of people I talk to about self-defense. I need knockdown power. You want to put that guy down right away. No, I'm not interested in killing people. That's just not one of my objectives. Like I said, my objective is to keep them from killing me. And that should be everybody's objective. I was talking about trespassers on this property, and I work very hard at keeping trespassers off the property. Now, I would imagine, although I don't know this for sure, that a jury, again, a jury, would probably have some leniency if you got into a confrontation on your property that didn't escalate to self-defense, but you did use a firearm to defend yourself. Such as, let's say, one of my subscribers came onto this property, started a fight with me, and I used deadly force. I would imagine a jury would be lenient towards me for that. But I don't want to go to a jury trial. It just ruins your life. That guy up in Wisconsin, that kid, 18-year-old, his life is ruined forever. He went to defend a car lot. I don't want to give you the whole story. I don't want to use a name because I don't want to get shadow banned or anything. He went to defend a car lot, ended up having to use self-defense, and he went to trial. He was found innocent. That's great. That is great news, and we all celebrated that. But do you know how much this has ruined this kid's life? His life is ruined forever. He can't even go visit his parents anymore because he's afraid that the bad people that want him to go away will hurt his parents. So he doesn't go over to his parents' house. He can't get into a college. He wanted to go down to Texas to go to college, and that college just specifically said, no, he's not invited here. He probably can't get a job. So now what he's doing, he's going around suing all the media outlets that ruined his name just so he can make an income for the rest of his life. It's just no way to think that you want to end somebody's life in a self-defense measure. I don't go around dreaming, hoping that I get into a conflict. And I know I watch this one YouTube channel, and you can just see it. He dreams about it. He wants to get into a conflict. He wants so bad to end it for somebody. I compare these people to street gang members. I don't know what you want to call them. They go around, they're shooting each other up. Streets of Chicago, everybody's shooting everybody up. Streets of St. Louis, they're shooting each other up. And we all see them as bad people. Oh, they need to go to jail and they need to clean those streets up. But then I think, my neighbor over there, I'm using a fictitious neighbor, he carries a gun and all he talks about is killing people. All I see from him is a potential murderer. That's what he is. He's just waiting for that opportunity to get permission to kill someone. That's psychotic. That's delusional. There is a serious problem with that kind of thinking. I am called a prude. I've been called a wussy. Take out the W, put a P in because I can't foods. I've been called a lot of, I was called girly in one of my videos. If I'm a prude because I don't want to go around shooting everyone, I guess I'm just going to have to accept that title because I think that's the moral good thing to do. I don't want to die at somebody's hands. I'll grant you that. But I don't want someone dying at my hands either. If I have to, it is the last resort. I have this issue with people who pretend to be tough. They pretend to be the bad guy, the tough guy. They're the tough guy. But the thing about these tough guys, I've always noticed, I don't drink. I've never done drugs, none of it. I've drank before. Don't get me wrong, I was in the Navy, but I don't drink anymore. And the thing about these tough guys is they're so tough. They have to come home and they have to drink down a 6-pack or 12-pack or the entire store stock, or they have to come home and, you know, do their stuff. They can't function without it because life is too stressful for them. I've heard people say this. I've heard a guy who said, I am a wuss, or use some sort of derogatory term. I can't remember exactly what he said. Later in conversation, this is a real life person, not somebody on YouTube, said, I just can't deal with life. I gotta have my beer and I gotta have my stuff, you know. Life is too stressful. Well, I'll tell you what, a real man can do, he can navigate life just fine, completely sober. That way, I can make good, sound decisions. So, if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about canning, just like real wuss does. So if I can inspire you to be a real man, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.